So my neighbor just called me, told me that he's got a car in his garage that has been there for 30 years. And he wanted to know if I could come and help him get this thing running. Well, I guess you're gonna have to stay tuned and find out. Welcome to Challenge Garage, boys. All right, guys, so I'm here in my neighbor's garage. This is my buddy Emmanuel.
Hey, how you doing?
Thank you so much for agreeing to let us record this and allowing me to help you get this car started.
Yes.
Now, you told me that you've owned this car. Now, nobody knows what this car is, and some of them might know, some of them might know, maybe by the silhouette you can tell what this is. But you were telling me that you've owned this car since when?
1975.
Since 1975, and it's been sitting here for 30 years. It has not run.
It has not run.
Okay, so this is going to be a revival video, guys. We are going to try to do our best to get this thing running. Emmanuel, why don't you go ahead and show them what we've got under this cover. That's right, boys. It's a 1969 Mustang. But it's not just a regular 1969 Mustang. It's a convertible 69 Mustang. Look at this. How cool is this? So this car, from what he was telling me, although I know it says 351, this is a changed out hood. He told me that he was replacing some parts on this car a long time ago, and you said from a previous accident you had to replace the hood and the fender and the door and all of that. But you love this car, man. This is something you've always wanted to get back on the road and use again, right?
Right.
All right. So our plan today is we're gonna pop the hood. We're going to see if that engine is locked up. All right, so we've got a 302 that is hooked up to a 3-speed automatic. Now, I'm not sure if it's a C4 or a C6 or even a FMX, but I highly doubt it's an FMX. It's most likely a C4 behind the 302. This is the original factory motor for this car. And so, as you can see, the radiator is completely gone, which is fine. Not a big deal. The engine's completely greasy. I'm sure the valve covers were leaking like crazy, and It's gotten oil everywhere, but I'm gonna just see if this engine will turn over. Okay, I'm just gonna grab the fan and see if it will move. Oh, yeah. Okay, that's good. It's not even locked at all. Okay, I think we're good from that perspective.
Okay.
It seems like the engine's not locked up. Okay. Let's see if we have oil in this thing.
You have what?
Oil, just oil.
Yeah, I looked at it yesterday. It's black. But it's been here 30 years.
Yeah. It doesn't smell like gasoline or anything like that. Looks to be all right. So we have oil. We have no coolant. All right. I would assume that this radiator, yeah, none. Okay, that's fine. Nothing a little hose won't fix, I'm sure. Man, I mean, this thing looks like it's so put together. Nothing is chewed up. Nothing is disconnected. I think we should just throw some gas in this thing and see what it does. I don't know how you feel about that. All right, let's swap out this battery.
Yep.
Oh, that's already loose. Okay, well, we don't gotta mess with this one. Let's see if this one is loose too then. No, it's not. All right, we're gonna need a pliers or something to get that off. I need to change this nut out too.
Somewhere, I think it's a brand new cable for that somewhere.
The key's not in it, right?
No.
Battery terminals are horrible. I'm gonna go get my battery brush. I'll be right back. All right, so we've got a brand new battery laying in here. We just cleaned the terminals off. And what I'm gonna do next is disconnect the fuel line here because I don't want any of this old fuel going to the carburetor. I don't even know if there's any old fuel in this thing. It's been sitting for 30 years. The line is literally so hard, it's like plastic. And it ripped, which is fine. I don't want to use this line anyway, and there's no fuel in it, so it's fine. We'll replace that fuel line anyway. That's okay. Ooh, it smells like varnish. Immediately I could smell varnish. Okay, so let's see if this thing will even turn over with a starter. Here's the ground. All right. See if this thing will just flip over. Let me know, just turn it one click, see if you get lights on the dash first. Okay. All right, turn it. No way. All right. Let's get some fuel. I bet you this thing is gonna pop off. We'll see if it has spark. We don't even know if it has spark yet, but let's get some gas, throw some gas in it. Got some gas. Throw a little bit in there. Way too much. You want to see if it'll turn over again? See if it'll just fire up, see if it'll come to life.
Actually,
Yeah, turn and hold it, let it run, see if it'll fire up.
all clear?
Yeah, man.
Is that recorded?
That's recorded, yeah. It just came to life. Are you kidding me right now with this? All right. Way too much again. Go ahead, let it run again.
Let it go again?
Yeah, go for it. All right, hang on.
Okay.
I don't, this 2-barrel carb, I don't know where the vent is. I'm assuming it's right here. All right, try again. That was way too much gas. It runs. It runs and it actually sounds good. It doesn't sound bad at all.
I can't believe it after all this years.
I mean, the engine sounded good. All right, well, we have some work to do to make it run for a while now.
Yeah. We got a fuel pump coming. We got, man. As you said, that brings it life right there.
Yeah, right? How's that make you feel?
Good, real good. You want me back in there? You want to try to keep it running, like keep
Yeah,
pumping?
I'm gonna see if it's gonna fill up this bowl or not. Yep, there it goes. Okay, it's full. Go ahead. Hang on. Let's see if the squirters are working in this thing. Right now the carburetor is doing absolute. Oh, there we go. Now I got squirters. Go ahead, fire it up. Again. Throw the gas. I got it.
Okay.
You just you turn the key. All right, stop. It's probably flooded now at this point. I poured a lot of gas in it.
Okay.
It's fine. We're in good shape. Well, at least we know it runs. Hey, Manuel, just see that this master cylinder's dry as a bone and it's got rust in it.
Gonna need a new master cylinder.
The master cylinder?
You say gonna need a new one?
Yeah, look at that. You can see inside there.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's got a little bit of fluid in the front, which we can probably maybe clean it, but it's got rust like pretty much everywhere, and the back one is completely dry. I don't know if that's still working or not, so we'll have to
New master cylinder.
we'll have to try and see. Yeah, you might need a new one.
Okay.
All right, guys. So we are in a really good place. Obviously, the engine fired up, and what we want to do is at least get this car outside in the driveway so we can power wash the engine bay, because everything's just real greasy and covered up, and I don't know what's good and what's bad. And then me and Emmanuel also made a parts list of things that he's going to need to buy as well. So we'll walk through that with you guys as well, so that you know what it is we're buying. But right now, I can't get this thing with the shifters. Something's not right. I can't get it in neutral. So I am going to take this shifter apart to see if I can figure out what's going on. I feel like something is loose. So either this is completely loose, which I don't think that's the case, or there's a bushing that goes in here that is completely deteriorated and is now gone. I can't really tell what's. I mean, look at this. It shouldn't be moving like that. So I don't think it's loose up here. I think it's something happened underneath. All right. Well, I guess we got to jack it up then and see what's going on with this with the shifter. You know, this is a pretty solid car. This is the only rust I see right here. This whole. Other than that, it looks pretty, I mean, strong. Obviously, because it's a convertible, it's got all these steel plates and reinforcements and everything. But the floor in the back looks great. The frame rails look really good. Okay. All right, let's do this. You want to try to get in on the passenger side and then put it in neutral. See if I need to see you move this thing because I can't move it from here. So put it in park. So park is all the way back. All right, you just click the button for me. That's reverse.
Yes, sir. I'm holding it in. Neutral. Drive. One. Drive.
Right there, that's neutral.
Neutral. Yes, sir.
We got it. All right, don't touch anything else on the shifter. Let's see if it is gonna move around at all. That's spinning. But it might not have a posi, so we'll see. Well, that's spinning. So did we just hit neutral? It's in neutral, don't touch it. It's in neutral.
It's in neutral.
Yeah. I mean, unless this wheel's not spinning. Because one of them is locked.
Uh-huh.
Because it's in neutral right now.
Right. It ain't that wheel. Push it like forward.
And it's not this wheel, and it's not that wheel. It's got to be that front wheel. It's got to be locked up. It is that tire?
It's that tire. I can't spin it.
You got a sledgehammer?
A real sledgehammer, yeah.
Yeah, great.
Just like this, seal in like this.
Just like that. Try and get the tire off?
No, the brake is locked up.
Uh,
So we just checked all the other three wheels and they're fine and everything's spinning. The cars are neutral, but this front wheel does not move at all. So I'm trying to get it to shock itself free. All right, guys, so here we are. We actually managed to drag the Mustang out of the garage. We had to use his Pathfinder to actually pull it out. The front passenger side wheel is completely locked up. This thing has drum brakes all the way around, and we confirmed that all the other drums are fine. It's just the front passenger one that's locked up. We're gonna try to push it a few more times, maybe with a tire and using the truck just to push it backwards. But next step right now is we're gonna power wash this entire engine bay, just because it's so greasy and oily, and we don't want to get absolutely filthy every time we touch a nut and bolt in this thing. Alright guys, here it is all cleaned up after a good power washing. Obviously, again, this is a 1969 engine, so and we have battery air conditioning right here. Keep your battery cool. Talk about ventilation. So yeah, we need, there's a lot of work to do. So the plan, now that we've got all the gunk cleaned up off of this motor, the plan is that we are going to put a new gas tank, we're going to put a new fuel pump. He also has a brand new oil pressure sending unit, so we'll install that at the same time we put the new fuel pump. We're going to install some new line, a new filter, and then we're going to put a brand new 2-barrel carburetor. We were talking about going back and forth between upgrading to a 4-barrel intake and a 4-barrel carb, but I think the main thing is let's get this thing running. If he ever wants to upgrade this thing later on, I'm right down the street, so we can absolutely do that later on. So we'll get a new radiator too. So we're going to have a brand new fuel system, brand new cooling system, and then the transmission, which I believe is a C4, is leaking like crazy. And when I was underneath looking at the shifter, trying to make sure that the car was in neutral, I noticed that the transmission pan gasket was squished out, so it looks like it was maybe over tightened, and it's just leaking from there. So I'm going to swap out the transmission pan gasket before we dump fluid in this thing and get it all cleaned up. It's day 2, and I'm headed back over to my neighbor's house. Now we're going to work on a little bit of the fuel system, try to get some of that stuff knocked out. Hope you guys are liking this, because I'm loving doing this. This is great. All right, guys, so we are back. It's day 2, and we made good progress yesterday. So we know that the engine runs. We know that, you know, putting the key in and turning it, at least the electrical portion of it is working just fine. We did have a lockup on the passenger front wheel. We were able to get it semi-unlocked. It's not perfect. It won't roll forward. It'll roll backwards, but you need a vehicle to move it. So that's something that we're going to deal with in a little bit. I think right now the plan is to open up these boxes. We've got a brand new fuel tank, and we've got a brand new fuel sending unit. So the plan is to get that installed and then replace any of the rubber lines. We have about 5 feet of rubber line. We'll replace any of the little rubber lines that if we find any leaks or anything like that. We've got some rubber hose to replace it with, and then we're going to work on the fuel pump as well. We're still waiting on the carburetor. That's supposed to come in today. Hopefully it does, so that we can get an entire fuel system completely installed. Here we go. Alright guys, so what I'm doing right now is I've got all the screws out on the back of the gas fill neck, and I'm going to take it out. I've loosened the collars for the rubber sleeve that goes down, but there's no way to like maneuver it, so we have to take this entire neck out, and that will release the rubber and then take us to the next step, which is getting the gas tank out. So it's just 4 screws on one side, and then it's this nut on the other, one nut on this, on the inside of the tank. And I shot it with a little WD-40 because it's the only thing on the inside of this trunk that's rusted. I can't believe how clean the inside of this trunk is. And edit. There you go, it's already in reverse.
Good, good.
Let's go. That was awesome. Okay. So now that's out of the way. Let's take a look. Wow, that gas tank smells so bad. Wow, believe it or not. Oh yeah, no, it's bad.
It's bad.
From this corner, I was like, wow, the tank looks good. Then I flip around this way. You got to see the muck that's in there. It's bad. Hang on, let me see if I can get the camera in there too. Get your eyes in there. Take a look at that. Guys, I promise you, it smells so bad. I'm sorry you can't see it, but you guys can see, or if I can see, or if this comes out. Actually, I just need pliers.
Need what, sir?
Pliers.
Pliers?
Yeah,
Okay.
pair of pliers to get this thing out. A lot of spider webs.
Yes, a lot of spider webs. Coming to you.
Thank you. Oh my gosh, I can't even get, like, everything is covered in spider webs. My camera, everything.
Did I ever give you the pliers?
Yeah, you gave me the pliers. Okay. It's out.
Well, it ain't glued in or nothing.
No, it ain't.
I'm not trying to get nothing in your face or nothing. So I got some. You want me to pull it on out?
Yeah, pull it on out. There you go.
Okay.
Up and out it comes.
Okay, get over here and get some. It's full of gas.
It's not full. It's just got a little bit of muck.
in. That's it. New tank is installed. And you guys see inside the tank now? Rainy day, but headed back to Emmanuel's house. Keep working on the Mustang.
Okay guys, check it out. Emmanuel put the new battery tray in. He had to put a piece of metal to cover up the air conditioning that we had down here, but that's now taken care of. And the battery tray is nice and sturdy. Battery is bolted down. We've got the brand new battery. We got a brand new cable for the positive lead. We also have a brand new one for the negative lead, but we haven't installed that yet. That's going to go in next. Today we're going to install a new radiator, which came in the mail. So we have a brand new radiator here. We also have a brand new carburetor. And then we have the fuel pump. And then that will take care of the cooling system and the fuel system. We also have new hoses in that box right there. New radiator hoses for this. The ones that are the factory ones that are pre-bent for this engine and this radiator. All right, so I am just taking the shroud off. I'm not going to take it completely out. I'm just going to remove it from the radiator and then just slide it back, and then that'll allow us to pull the radiator straight up in the air. And it should just be 4 bolts holding this thing in. So you said you bought this car in 1976, right?
75.
75, sorry. And it has been sitting since 1993. We can see that by the sticker on the windshield. So, and you said this was your first car since high school.
Yes, sir.
So why is this car special to you?
It is. It's my first car. It's the only Ford that I really like. And since then, I've been wanting to get it back on the road.
I'm glad we're doing it. So, do you have any special memories with your car? Like, did you meet your wife in this car? Like, what's the significance? I wanna know.
Oh, it done a lot of things. It's been in a parade. When I already had my license, but a lot of friends got their driver's license in this car.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
A lot of your buddies?
Yeah, they have a license.
So, did you meet your wife in this car? Is it that significant, or?
No, I already had it, but we've been married 33 years.
Okay.
But she rode around in it, and it's just been parked. And my daughter, she's never, rode in anything in a convertible like this.
So it'll be your daughter's first time riding in this when we get this thing running.
Yes, she never rode in it.
So she's excited, I bet.
She is.
I'm excited too, man. I can't wait to see what this thing rides around like. So what was the, so you bought the car in 75, 76? 75.
Mm-hmm.
So what's the motivation now? Like, what got you motivated now to say, I want this thing running? What was it?
I retired.
You retired? Oh,
yeah.
Congratulations on that.
Because I worked a job where I put a lot of hours in.
Yeah.
Worked some 6 and 7 days a week, 12 hours. So, and I worked out of town. So I didn't really have a whole lot of time just to commit to it.
So what is it about this car that you just absolutely love so much that made you hold on to it for 30 years?
It's a Mustang. You know Mustang. It's a Mustang.
So when you told me, you said you paid $850 for this car.
$850 for it.
Can you imagine paying $850 for a 69 convertible Mustang that back then was running and driving?
Mm-hmm.
You know what $850 will get you now out of a 69 Mustang? A hood. Just the hood. Just maybe a good set of wheels. 2 doors. Used and in bad condition. That's what $850 will get you. You excited to put some new shiny parts on this thing?
Yes, I am.
So why did, I'm a little confused because, I thought we were going to have to struggle getting this thing running. Mm-hmm. I mean, literally just put some gas down down the Yap, and she started to bark right off. Why did you park this thing 30 years ago? Why has it been sitting here?
It's just been sitting. I just hadn't took the time to work on it.
Did something go wrong?
No, it never. Just stopped driving it.
You just stopped driving
Just
it, and it
stopped
just
driving
sat, and that's
It
it.
just sat.
You got a new car, obviously. And
A truck, couple of
you got a
trucks
truck, okay.
after that, and a boat. So that took a lot of my time.
Gotcha. Let me like that. There we go. Here it is. The old rusty, crusty radiator that's got silicone keeping it from leaking. I mean, it leaked from everywhere. It literally leaked from everywhere. Okay,
Had
that's
it repaired
it.
a couple of times, and it still leaked.
Well, you never have to get this repaired again.
That's true.
So is your wife excited to go for like dinner and stuff in this thing?
Oh yeah.
Is she is?
Oh yeah. You can't wait to. People be wanting to drive it. Can I drive your car?
I'm excited for you, Emmanuel. I really am. This is cool, man. This is so cool that you're doing this. That goes there. Light comes out. This goes in place. All right, guys, so we got the radiator installed, the overflow tube hanging down. So here's one thing, right? This aftermarket radiator, it's a good radiator, nice and big, 3-row. The problem is that it wasn't like 100% direct bolt-on for the shroud. So we drilled some holes through it and got it to zip tie into the original spot. So this why, and the fan still spins around. I was able to spin it and make sure that it's fine. So right now we're gonna cut the ends of the zip ties off, and I'm happy with that. At least now we still have a shroud. So while he's working on the ground, you're probably gonna need a 1/2 inch. And I'm working on the thermostat housing right now to change out the thermostat itself so that it's all good. It's probably not bad, but not one of those things that we really want a chance. Ran home real quick to get my drill. Need to get this all cleaned up. So this thermostat is a regular 180, but it did not have a vent hole in it. I just drilled a hole in the top so that it would let any air bubbles through. It's some old trick that an old mechanic showed me. And then obviously you want this pointed to the top so that all the air can escape. I'm putting a lot more than I probably should, only because I don't trust this mating surface really that well. All right, so Emmanuel's down underneath the car, working on the ground cable. We're replacing it with a new one, and I'm just going to go ahead and open up the new carburetor, see what this thing looks like. This was like a $90 2-barrel Amazon special. So, I mean, it had great reviews. People said pop it on, and it works. Nice. Comes with a nice little phenolic spacer. I guess that's the gasket too. I don't know. Maybe there's a paper gasket in here that I'm not seeing. Here she is. 2-barrel carb. Man, that looks pretty similar to... That's really nice. right, let's get this carb off. So I took the main line off the filter here, or rather the hose clamp off the filter. And this carb has basically a built-in filter. Ow, that hurt. Got it.
Need no work one
Now,
time.
this comes off. Okay, there we go, good. We'll hold on to that C-clip because we'll need it for the other one. And I think that, and then this spring needs to come out. Okay. I think that's 4 bolts and this thing comes right out. There goes the crusty carburetor. All right, guys, so I've got the carburetor that Emmanuel bought for his 69 Mustang. Here's the thing, right? This is the throttle cable bracket that came off of the car, which I want to reuse, right? And so how this thing works is on the factory carb, it bolts to the back 2 holes and it holds the throttle cable in the exact spot that it needs to be so that it connects to the throttle here on the carb. Now, this isn't the same exact carburetor, right? And it's obviously a cheap Chinese knockoff. It's just fine, but obviously we have to modify a few things. So what I'm going to end up doing is I'm going to take this bracket, and because there's some meat here, right? There's some metal right here in this corner. My plan is to set this thing up in a way where I'm gonna chop it right now, like right here, just so that I can get the angle right. And then I'm gonna cut the bracket like right here so that it falls in line, falls in the hole, and sits up against this ridge that's right here. And if it sits up against this ridge, it's gonna give it the rigidity that it needs so that it doesn't like slide forward, because obviously the cable is like pulling, so it won't go this way and it won't go this way. It'll hold it in place. That's the plan. So that's what I'm gonna try doing right now. I'm gonna chop this thing and then I'll trim it some more so that it fits right up against this ridge. Let's take a little bit off the top here. Perfect. All right, I've got a line of where it needs to be cut. There we go. See if this fits now. So back of the carb. Okay, check this out. So now that'll be good. Once it's tightened down, that's fine. And it can't go that way when it's being pulled on. That's good. That's all I need. And I have the hole for the spring right here, and then I have the hole for the throttle cable right here. That's awesome. Just got the fuel pump out. And then from here, we're gonna replace the oil pressure sending unit as well, and then get a brand new pump in. And then we're waiting on a gasket for the carburetor and an inline fuel filter for the carburetor. And once we have those, we'll be able to wrap up the fuel system once I get the new fuel pump in. Okay guys, so new oil pressure regulator installed, new fuel pump. There it is, now you can see new fuel pump installed. So right now what Emmanuel is doing is he is taking the hard line and connecting it to the new fuel pump. After we do that, we are going to drop the oil from this motor, put fresh oil in and a fresh oil filter, and we are waiting on a carb gasket and the inline filter that connects to that carburetor. Once we have all of that and we put new oil in this thing, we're going to put gas in the tank and see if it fires up. How awesome would that be? All right guys, so we got the new gasket. I just put it on and I'm starting to put the nuts down for the carburetor. We got a new gasket. He went and got it. We didn't use the really big, thick, chunky one that came with it. We just went and got a brand new Mr. Gasket 2-barrel Ford Holly gasket thing. Okay. Also got a brand new inlet filter for the carburetor, and I already put it on. It is ready for a test fire. We have brand new carburetor on, brand new fuel pump on. We've done an oil change, new filter. It's got a new oil pressure sending unit, has a new fuel pump, has a new fuel tank, new radiator. It's empty still. I don't want to fill the radiator up. I just don't want a bunch of fluids falling out just in case they do. But I've got some gasoline in a bottle, and what I've got right now is the main line coming off the fuel pump, and we're going to dump it into a little container here. I just want to make sure that, first of all, the new fuel pump is working and it sends any of the old nasty fuel out, and then it gets to the clean fuel before I hook it up to the carburetor. Battery's hooked up, everything's hooked up. I want to make sure, and when I tell you to shut it off right away, because it's going to dump fuel. So I want to see this fuel pump work. Go for it.
Okay, you got the throttle, right?
Yeah.
Spin.
Okay, hang on. Something's hitting. Oh, man.
What?
Look at the bad fuel. I'm so glad I didn't run that directly
In the engine.
in the engine, in the carburetor. Look at how bad that is. Oh, it smells horrible. We leaked a bunch, too. This needs a clamp.
Okay.
Couple things happened while the camera was off. So one, we discovered that the fan was hitting one of the hose clamps, so we had to, kind of spin the hose clamp around. We've got that out of the way. I damaged the fan shroud while I was leaning down there trying to fix the hose clamp. I fixed the shroud. Right now we're still trying to get the rest of the bad gas. So go ahead and hit it, Emmanuel. Still bad gas. We're almost there. Hang on.
Okay.
Oh my gosh, way too much. Go ahead, hit it. Huh?
I said it was running by itself.
Yeah, that's a good thing. We're almost there. We almost got all the bad gas out.
It's still coming out, that bad gas?
Yeah, it is.
Okay.
Go ahead, hit it again. That's it. Now it's clean. Yes. Guys, look at how much bad gas came out. That's just from the fuel line. And there's a bunch of sediment in there too. Man, okay, cool, great. I think we're in good shape. Yeah, take a look at this. Oh man, that's terrible. Now there is an inline fuel filter directly on the carburetor. Okay, hit it.
Ready?
Yeah. too long because we don't have any coolant in it.
Right.
Smoking.
Yeah, it's fine. It's been smoking because it's been sitting and dumping oil all over itself. Guys, we did it. It runs.
Hey,
This is awesome.
it is. What do you think, honey? And the engine got, you know, like oil and stuff.
Well, congratulations, Emmanuel. You got a running. Wow, that had pressure in it. We can throw coolant in there. Get this thing cool down. I'm really happy. You know that. And you know what's gonna make me really happy is when I see him taking you out for a ride in this thing with the top down, and y'all are going out to dinner. Oops. That's gonna make me really, really, really happy.
That was quick too. I mean, just to get it to this point.
He's been working like a sailor.
All right, go ahead, dump number 2 in there. It's gonna need 2.5 right off the bat, and then we open up the thermostat and it's gonna need more. All right, so there's the 2. It's gonna need half, and then we'll have to burp the system and get the air out, but it'll take 1/2 gallon right now.
Oh, you
See if there's I wanna make sure I could see if there's anything leaking. Can you check underneath while I check on top?
Yes,
I wanna
sir.
make sure we're not leaking anything
Okay.
at all. You don't gotta touch nothing, just turn the key, it'll fire right up. Where's it at? It's breaking up.
Breaking up with that.
It's breaking up like it's just bad. It's either still bad fuel, a little bit of bad fuel, which I don't think it is, or it just could be your spark plugs too. It's also dripping oil a ton from the valve cover. You can smell that's fresh oil that we just poured in. So that'll be the next job. We'll change out the valve cover gasket so that it stops leaking, and then that's one less problem that we will deal with.
Okay. But my thing is to get valve cover gasket.
Yep.
Okay.
You can get
Any
them
special
from-
glue or anything?
No, there's no glue. Just get the cork ones.
Cork ones.
Cork. Yep.
Yeah. That right there, just amazing what we did today. It could be leaking oil a little bit, that's fine.
Yeah.
They never did get hot enough to open the thermostat, did
No, it did not. And when I come, I'm gonna bring my. I have a laser thermometer, and I'll check, make sure that everything is running at the right temp. But let it cool all the way down. Again, it hasn't run in 30 years. Here you go.
Okay.
Let it do its thing.
I can put the cap on it.
Yeah,
So-
you fill it all the way up, and you can put the cap on.
Well, it's right at 4. Right at it. But I'll get it to the point.
Yeah, and then we also need to put the heater on too, on the inside. Put the heat.
What you mean?
Run the heater.
Oh, okay. That'll help do something?
Yeah, because it'll get the coolant to circulate all the way through. So we need to do that too. Okay. Guys, huge progress on the Mustang. So we got it running. New carb, new fuel pump, oil change, new gas tank, new radiator. It's running. It's a running car. Now it's breaking up, and we still have some things that we need to do. We've got to change out the valve cover gaskets because they're dripping oil like crazy. You can see how bad it's smoking, and it's something that we need to take care of because it's a hazard. So we'll take care of that. There's shifter bushings, and then the transmission pan gasket and transmission pan filter that we need to change out as well because it's leaking and puking transmission fluid everywhere. And then we'll also cycle through the coolant and make sure that the thermostat opens up. I'm on my way back to Emmanuel's house right now. I got my tool bag with me, and today we found a problem that we're gonna have to fix, and I've got just the right tool. Well, take a look at this. Emmanuel has taken the intake off, painted it Ford blue, took the valve covers off. He took the oil cap off, painted that black. He took the shock mount supports off and painted those black as well. Everything looks super nice under here. And now I will show you where the problem is, and it's just under here. Okay guys, so we took the valve covers off. I don't know if you can tell here, maybe you can, I'll zoom you in. Take a look at this. So first off, can you see the issue here? So right off the bat, these aren't the distorted nuts. They're down at the bottom, which are normal, but there's 2 locking nuts on here, and that's abnormal. This motor should not have 2 nuts on top of each rocker arm. It should just be an individual one that is what's called distorted, and it's kind of like think of like a nylon without the nylon that's in there. It's actually the metal that's more like an oval, and as you turn it, it just really grabs and bites the threads and doesn't come undone. So here's the problem. So first off, you notice that again, it's got second set of nuts. Some of them are different sizes. I don't even understand, but here's the worst part. Look at this. So we went ahead and ordered an entire kit of rocker arm nuts for this motor. They'll be here at 2 o'clock, so we'll go ahead and get all of those replaced. And I brought just the right tool that's going to help me set the valve lash and do all of that stuff. It's the best. Wait till you guys see this. The other thing that we're going to do now as well is we're going to remove this brand new carburetor and send it back. There's something wrong with it. It's been dripping gas inside past the throttle blades, and so we just ordered another one. We're going to box this one up, ship it back, and install a new one. But we're not going to do that until obviously after we set the valve lash and get the rockers all readjusted and make sure that's all perfect. All right, so we're taking the carb off. Like I said, it's got issues. It's not running well. Okay, that's out. All right, guys, so me and Emmanuel are working on a few things at the same time. So he is working on cleaning up the intake manifold and also the mating surface for the carburetor. I am working on the shifter. As you can see here, this shifter is super loose and you don't really know what gear it's in. And that's because it's missing some bushings. The bushings had deteriorated out. So here are the bushings. It's 7A133-1. You need 2 of these. Those are the top bushings, and then I got a set of bottom bushings that is C3TZ7343A. These are all from National Parts Depot. That's going to fix the top, and then we're going to address the bottom as well. This way the shifter has positive engagement in park, reverse, neutral drive, etc. So right now I'm going to jack the car up. Now that I've got this apart, and I'm 100% sure that this one is missing or deteriorated, broken, whatever, I'm going to take this entire assembly apart, disconnect it from the bottom, get it out of the car, and try to work on it from there. Okay, guys, sorry for the weird angle, but now I got to get this shifter out. There's 4 3/8" bolts that are holding it together. Once I get these out, I've already disconnected it from down below. Okay, those 4 are out. This should just come out now.
I don't think anywhere it's caught.
Oh, okay, good. So now we got to get this bolt out, and then we can get the bushings in. Okie doke. I don't know what size that is. 9/16, I think. All it is just for, there it is, just to be able to get it into torque, reverse, neutral drive. Ah, here we go. Come on. This should just come out. Okay. So now you can see, guys, there's no bushings on here at all.
Wow.
So now we take these bushings and we're going to put one on the outside.
Mm-hmm. They just deteriorated over time?
Yep.
Okay.
After 50 years of shifting in the park, it finally gave up. So now to do this one, you've got to get this thing in first. And then you slide this from the inside on there. And that's in. And now we can put this back.
And that was the issue.
That's the issue why it kept bouncing around between gears, because it just wasn't sitting in the right spot. And now it's like, now it's super tight. That's great. Okay, good. And this thing is slotted, so you can't really mess it up. Like you can only go in one way. Yeah, that's significantly better.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Mm-hmm.
and now there's no more left to right movement. So that is job done. Now we put this back, reassemble, connect everything from underneath. There's a new bushing for the one underneath.
Okay.
That'll tighten that up. And then we will not have any more issues getting this thing in the drive or neutral. We did it. The shifter is now fixed and it doesn't wobble anymore. It goes into all the gears the way that it should. Park, everything is good. So we, like I said, we changed out the bushings that were in the actual shifter, and then down below to the shift rod, which connects to the transmission, I changed out the bushing that's on that as well. So that's brand new, and now it feels nice. All right, guys, so I am getting ready to do the rocker arm nuts for this Ford 302 from 1969. Now, I've never done it before, but in this box I have the special tool that's needed to do this job. I'll go ahead and get this opened up to help myself out here. Yep. Now I know how to do it. You get instant knowledge once you wear this hat. All right, guys, so Emmanuel went ahead and painted the intake for us. At the same time, we pulled off the riser for the PCV inlet, and man, it was covered in gunk and soot. So we cleaned all of that out. Like I said, we painted the intake manifold, so now the valve cover gaskets and the intake manifold are nice and blue. And we're going to go ahead and change out the rocker arm nuts. And we got a box of Melling. These are the distorted nuts that I was talking about earlier. So now I got to get all of this stuff off. So strange that whoever did this job put these like locking nuts on there. It's unnecessary and a little confusing. And now that I have the hat of knowledge, obviously a vice grip garage hat is amazing, and I love this hat. And I've been waiting for the right moment to wear it, and I watched Derek's video last night about how he did his valve lash on that Chevy, and the video is 4 years old. I'll put a link to it up in the top. And it's amazing, the video quality and the type of video that he made from 4 years ago to the type of stuff that he's making now. It's really inspiring. I hope that in 4 years' time, I am a quarter as good as he is. Wow, this is the reason why I asked him to buy new nuts, because this one is not biting at all, which makes sense as to why there were some locking nuts on these. But I mean, the new ones are like $1 each, and it doesn't really make sense to not buy the correct nuts for this job. So what I'm doing, guys, is I'm just spinning the push rod until I hit drag. That's all I'm doing. And then I'll back off and then retighten again until it just starts to bite the push rod. And then I'll do this 4 times, and every time I do it, I'll spin the engine over 90 degrees. This one is totally loose, and the bolt itself is also totally not biting at all, or the nut rather. I'm going to repeat this 4 more times, spin the engine over 90 degrees, drink a wobble pop in between each one, and every rotation you confirm that it's tight and that you can still spin the push rod. Once that's all done, you do 3/4 turn for preload, and that's it. So we've got everything done. We've got the carburetor back on. This is a new carburetor, new gaskets, everything's on there. We've left the valve covers off. Right now we've got the battery here. It was completely dead. It will not turn over. We've got the charger on it. We're gonna let this thing boil overnight and then come back tomorrow and see if we can get this thing to run. See you in the morning. Hey guys, so we are back to work on the Mustang. It's the next day. We've got the valves adjusted, but we discovered that now that the engine actually has compression, the starter is bad. When the rockers weren't fully seated the right way, it was allowing a lot of compression to leak by. And so the weak starter worked fine, but now it doesn't. So it just started smoking. I'm gonna go ahead and pull that old starter out. I have my starter from my Mustang. I'm gonna see if it's the same. If it is, we'll pop that in and then see if we can get this thing running again. Hey guys, headed back to Emmanuel's house. I think today's the day we're gonna be able to get this thing out for a ride. The goal today, work on the brakes. As soon as they work, we're driving this thing. All right guys, welcome back to Challenge Garage. It's day, I don't even know, I've lost count of how many days. It's been weeks we've been working on this thing. But today we're gonna work on the brakes. So Emmanuel, while I was on vacation, he managed to get the front wheel unlocked. The front passenger wheel was completely locked up, the drum was locked up. It is now unlocked and the car rolls easily in neutral, but there are absolutely zero brakes. So we are going to change out the rear brake line, change out both wheel cylinders, and at least get rear brakes so we can just drive this thing around the block and see what else it needs. That's the goal for today. Let's get to it. I see a significant problem that I never saw before till right now.
What's that?
That drum is coming out.
Like,
Yeah, that drum, that driver's side drum is sticking out about an inch.
farther than this one. This one's like about a half inch.
That's normal.
Yeah.
That's not normal.
Okay.
So we gotta find out why. I'm wondering if the axle came out, but there's 4 bolts that hold the axle in. This is a 4 9-inch.
I ain't changed none of that, so.
Well, I know, but that's not normal right there. How that drum is not pushed all the way in. Because well, I guess we'll find out. I mean, usually the drum sits over the.
Which wheel, you want that wheel off first?
Well, we're gonna take them both off at the same time. We're gonna knock both of these out. These shoes look literally brand new. All right, I'll be right back. I'm gonna go get my bleeder kit and I'm gonna go get my impact too. All right, well, here's what I've done so far. We've taken the drums off the back and I've taken the bleeder off to see if there's any fluid or if there's any pressure going from the master cylinder back. There's none. The master cylinder is full of fluid and I'm like 99.9% sure that it is absolutely garbage. So we're gonna pull it off and replace it with another one. Hopefully I can get this off without stripping anything. That was nice and loose. God. So Emmanuel went out to go get a new rear drum. It turns out that I guess Mustangs have 2 different size drums. One that's a 1.5-inch deep drum and one that's a 2-inch deep drum. And on the passenger side, he has a 2-inch deep drum. And the brake shoes make full contact, but on the driver's side, he has a 1.5-inch drum, and there's a part of the pad that doesn't even contact the drum at all whatsoever. So I sent him out to try to go get a replacement rear drum so that everything's correct. This is the time to do all of this, just make it all right. Since we got to be in the brake system anyway, I don't want him running around tearing up half a brake shoe. So right now I'm working on getting the master cylinder off. I just got the first bolt out. I'm going to work on the second one. It's a little bit tougher because all the lines are in the way, but hopefully I can get it. Okay. Got the master cylinder out. I mean, it doesn't look that bad, but I'm only getting fluid leaking out. I mean, the bowls are totally full, and I'm only getting just a slight drip out of the back one. But we have a new one. We'll pop that in. Hopefully that fixes some of our braking issue. Got the new master cylinder here. This push rod was stuck in the old one, and so I'm going to give you a little tip here. If this push rod is ever stuck, what you do is you put a pair of pliers through it and hold it, and then just smack this thing with a hammer right here, just right on the ear, bang, and it'll fall and hit the ground, and your push rod will be free. This is like perfect and loose and will come out now if I needed to, but just letting you guys know, if you've got like a 64.5 through a 70 Mustang and you've got manual brakes and the push rod is stuck, hold it, smack it with a hammer, it'll pop out. Let's get this new one installed. Gotta reverse it. Okay. Pro tip from experience: don't just slam this thing in there. While it's loose, hook the rod up first. I'm such a dummy. Pedal is hooked up. Brake light switch is hooked up. Cotter pin is in. Now I can tighten up the master cylinder. Okay, new master cylinder is installed. And now, once I get that new drum, we'll try to bleed all of this stuff and see what happens. Okay, next thing we're gonna do is swap out this rear rubber brake line. We've got a new one. It's kind of one of those things where we're doing all this stuff and we might as well keep doing it right. Not expensive to replace your line, you know. It's only, I think it was like 15 bucks for that rear brake line. It's not a lot of money, but definitely worth every penny when you need to stop. Okay, which way is lefty loosey? That would be tight. Lefty loosey would be this way. All right, guys, take a look here. So now in here we've got a brand new rear brake line. I don't know if you can see it right there. Brand new rear brake line, all plumbed in. Everything's hooked back up. And now we got the new drum, so we're gonna put that on. And then we're gonna put the drum on the other side and bleed and see if we get any fluid to come to the back of the car.
That's 6.
Hold it.
Okay. You won't know.
Okay, pump again.
Going down.
Did it go down a lot?
It's down more than it was at first.
Okay, hold it down.
I got it down.
All right, guys, so a bit of a problem, which I think we kind of assumed was going to happen. We changed the master cylinder. We got brake fluid all the way to the wheel cylinder, but the fluid is not going through the wheel cylinder. So we have 2 new wheel cylinders. We're gonna go ahead and replace those and hopefully get some rear brakes. So we just finished bleeding the passenger side. So we've got a new master cylinder, a new rear rubber brake line, and new wheel cylinders, and also 1 driver's side rear drum that is brand new because the one that was on here was the wrong freaking size. Mm-hmm. So now we are gonna bleed this side. Hopefully we don't need to use the vacuum bleeder. I had to use it on the other side just to get the airlock out. Pump.
Really?
Yeah, go ahead. Just pump it like 3 times and hold it.
Oh, it's up there.
You hear all that air?
That's a good thing.
All right, go ahead, pump.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
More air keep coming.
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah. I'm happy with that, man. That's great progress for the day.
Great progress.
Yeah, we have rear brakes. Guys, we have spent weeks on this car. We have changed out the fuel system, changed out the coolant system. We have at least now have some rear brakes. So we've replaced the master cylinder, a rear drum, the wheel cylinders. We've bled the rear brakes. And this is going to be the first time this car has driven out in its own, under its own power in 30 years. Emmanuel, hit it. All right, go for it. All right. Look at that 69 Mustang. How's it make you feel?
Make me feel good.
Yeah?
I'm enjoying it.
Are you?
Yeah.
Look at that smile on your face. How do you feel?
I feel awesome.
Feel awesome, huh?
Awesome. It's back on the road, and I'm glad.
Well, we still have more work to do, right?
Yes, we do.
So this is the end of this episode. Guys, Emmanuel's had this car since 1975. It's been in this garage for 30 years. And after some tinkering and some work, he and I got this thing running and driving and stopping, sort of. This is not the end of this car. You're gonna see us go through, do a big brake upgrade, redo the interior, make sure the top works, fine tune the engine, make sure that it's running perfect. We're gonna get this thing painted.
Yes.
There's so much to come for this 69 Mustang.
Wait till the next episode.
You wait till the next episode. You tell them. Thanks for watching, guys. We'll see you next time.